Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you an amazing endgame puzzle where it is white to play and win. Take a moment to see if you can find the winning continuation for white. Just as a note, this black pawn is going down the board and not up the board. Okay, while you're thinking about this, let me quickly encourage you to subscribe if you have not yet already. Half of the income that I earn in this channel goes directly to charity, so every like, every subscriber helps me out so much. Okay, so let's get started here. You might look at this puzzle and say, what is wrong with knight f5? That's a fork, right? What's wrong with that move? Well, you'd be right that it's a fork, but if you calculate a few moves ahead, you'll see that they take your knight, you take their queen, they take your knight, and what happens? Well, this is a theoretical drawn endgame. A rook and a bishop against a rook is not a win for the side with the extra minor piece. It's theoretical, of course, so it's possible, but with best play, it's a draw. So you might say, okay, that's all pretty forced, which means this move cannot be the move. So maybe you have to ask yourself, is there a way I can get this knight away from the check, away from the capture, maybe by giving a check, before I give this check on f5? Is there a way I can do something? Is there some intermediate move? And the answer is yes. And this is what leads to the first move in the puzzle. Knight h5, check. Now what is this doing? Well, it buys a little bit of time because now they can't go here and you still want to land this fork, and depending on where they go, you'll still be able to land it. Let's talk about it. Where can black go? They can go to h2, they can go to h3, they can go to h4. What's the differences between these moves? What are the differences? If they go to h4, although it looks like a good idea, they're really just walking into a family fork here on f5. I check you, and it might look like you're getting something back, but I move up with the king to attack your rook as black. That's okay. White just captures, and if you capture here, this is another fork, and this is enough material to win the game. If you're good enough to mate with the bishop and knight, right? Okay. And not really anything else to show in that variation. You can try to consider a different move. If they go here and you capture, maybe you don't do this, right? This doesn't make sense. You just play rook h8, no problem here. Just consolidate, you're fine. So that's pretty forced after they play king h4. So you don't really want to play king h4 if you're black. Instead, you want to look toward these other two. But of course, as white, you have to think about all of that before your first move. So you make your first move, and they have two options. We've already ruled out king h4. Let's look at king h3. So they're walking right into a discovered check, by the way. That's a little scary, right? Well, this is kind of the move that refutes this king h3 line. Knight f6, check, by the rook, by the way. Okay, now what does this mean? Well, I can't interpose with anything, right? Black can't put a rook in the way. They would be able to if it was on h2, which means you only have one move. King h3, king g3, which now leads to a fork again. Bang, family fork in the house. Okay, I only have one move again. This is totally winning for white. Knight takes e7. They take back. If they don't, well, if they don't, you'll have an extra piece. If they do, just to show it, they get hit with the fork again. Another fork. These knights are on fire. Okay. And if they don't capture, according to the computer, the best move is rook a3. Do you really feel like black has a chance here? I don't know about you, but I don't feel like there's a chance. I have 3 pieces and a rook against your rook and pawn. I'll be fine. Best move, according to the computer, is knight to d5 check. You can pick your knight. Okay, so we pretty much ruled out these two moves. So let's look at the forcing, or the best defense, I'll say. Knight h5, king h2. Now is where it gets fun. So the winning move here is to, again, play knight f6 check. And now black has 2 options. They can play king g3 and run away, or they can block with the rook. Just as a quick note, if they play king g3, this is a very suboptimal move because, again, you get hit with this fork, and it's very similar to what I showed a moment ago. Okay, so they have to block, right? Cool. If they block, what does white do? white takes this rook. And it's just such a cool puzzle. This is where it gets really fun. As black, you have two options. Take with the g-pawn, take with the king. Let's look at both really quickly. And it gets nuts, so prepare yourself. If g takes h3, what move wins? Knight g4 check. And right now, I know I'm getting deep into the weeds here, there are two variations. You can move the king out, or you can take. If you move the king out, you get hit with the fork. So let's immediately rule that out. If you take, this is the cool variation. Look at the move that wins this right here. This is an insane puzzle. Knight e4. Look at this. Look at this. And if they take, check, they have to move, check, and or not check, take, and look at you're blocking off their square. They have one move, and look at this. Look at this move. Look at this. King f2. Come on. You can't get any better than this. They can just play around a little bit with their moves. They can try to stalemate themselves. It's not going to work. Instead, knight f1 stalemates the king. They have to move, and that's checkmate. This is an incredible puzzle. Hopefully, you're seeing how amazing it is. Okay, let's go all the way back. Just for that line, I know I had to show it. So, they had to take with the h-pawn, right? So, if they, like I was trying to say, if after rook here, they take with the g-pawn, those are the variations I can show. So, if they take with the king, what happens now? Well, again, the beautiful stuff starts. Bishop g2 check. And now, it's like another puzzle within a puzzle. Where does this king go? It has 3 squares. And I'll let you think a little bit about where to go. I think you can immediately rule out these two, h4 and g3, because there's a knight fork that would hit both of these squares. Hopefully you can visualize that. That's the whole point of these puzzles, right? Improve your calculation. What about king h2? What happens here? Knight takes g4 check. Okay, king g3. Well, again, the fork strikes again. Bang. The fork awakens, we'll say. And this is enough to win. Look at this insane puzzle. There are so many amazing variations. In a lot of them, you end up with a bishop and a knight. And in that one I showed, just that cool one, you can leave your queen, you can leave your knight hanging, and they can't do anything. This position is a piece of art right here. This is amazing. So hopefully you got to see something here and take something away from it. I love this puzzle, and hopefully you do as well. If you did enjoy it, let me know. Support the channel. All that stuff is just incredible. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye.